How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Tom Lee yesterday said something extremely bullish. I made a video on it, but I want to play that video for you today. I also want to go through what you need to know about this week. We have a lot of big earnings. We have a lot of big events. This is going to be a volatile week for crypto and for the stock market. So let's go through it. If you don't mind, hit subscribe so you can see future videos just like this. Also, if you want to trade crypto, we just wrapped up the event on BYDFi where you could get up to $13,000 in bonuses. We're going to run another one of these. Right, we're going to keep on running promotions like this to give you guys free money. So if you sign up now, you can participate in every single event that happens in the future. So check that out underneath the video. You can start trading today. I think now's a great time because everything is moving to all-time highs except for Bitcoin. So far, Bitcoin's still down about 15% from the recent high, but we could see a big rotation here soon. You can see Bitcoin's looking actually pretty good today. Right, up to 111,500. We just got rejected around $112,000 2 days ago. We are seeing some lower highs here, so don't be surprised if we get rejected right around like 113,000. I think that's pretty much the point of resistance now. And we keep on seeing higher lows as well, so we could see a pretty exciting week this week for crypto. Just in general, though, it's going to be really exciting. The market is at new all-time highs for the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and we have a lot of earnings this week. This is the big tech week, probably the biggest tech week for earnings. We have PayPal on Tuesday before the market opens, along with SoFi, UPS as well. After the market closes, we have Visa, Enphase, Booking Holdings. But Wednesday and Thursday are the big days. We have Meta, Microsoft, Alphabet, Chipotle, Starbucks, Mercado Libre. I can't say that apparently. Then Thursday we have MasterCard, Amazon, Apple, Coinbase, MicroStrategy. So it's going to be kind of interesting. I always like looking at Coinbase, seeing who's trading crypto, what are they trading. Obviously, Coinbase makes the majority of their fees from retail. Retail trading has come down a bit this quarter from like the end of last year. I think the end of last year was really the best quarter from what I could tell for trading. And, a lot of people were excited about the market with Trump coming into office. Now it's kind of winded down. Altcoins just in general haven't done that well, but there have been bouts of volatility. But obviously everyone's going to watch Meta, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, Apple. We're going to be looking to see if they're continuing to spend in AI and what that looks like, to see if this AI trade's going to continue. But in general, I think they're going to do extremely well, right? They've done really well for, since COVID with very quick revenue growth. So I think they'll probably beat expectations and the market will continue moving up, in my opinion. Of course, we do have the Fed meeting as well on Friday. I believe it's Friday. No, it's not. It's Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. We're expecting a 25 basis point cut. CPI came in lower than expected. Kind of opens the door for them to continue to do more and more cuts. So this will be a pretty big week from that perspective. Now, Tom Lee just went on CNBC and gave his opinions on the market, and they are extremely bullish, like more bullish than I think most people even expected, even knowing Tom Lee is extremely bullish. Again, I covered this yesterday, but I want to play the clip for you, and then we'll talk about it.
So Bitcoin rising back above 110,000 this week, and the NASDAQ posted a record close. So is this a sign that the risk-on trade is back in full force? Well, let's ask one of the biggest bulls on the street, Fundstrat's Tom Lee. Tom, happy Friday. So we're up more than 15% year-to-date for the S&P, probably more than you expected in late spring. At the same time, we had this government shutdown, tariff headaches. So why should investors be more bullish on risk assets, the market overall, than they were 6 months ago?
Well, John, even at the April lows, just to be clear, our S&P year-end target was 6,600.
Yeah, John, come on. It's like he doesn't even know that Tom Lee was extremely bullish, even during the dip. I mean, Tom Lee was probably the most bullish person on Wall Street. And it paid off because, everyone that's followed him, either with his funds or just obviously listening to him, is extremely green. So come on, come at it with a little bit of research there, Tom.
So we were still expecting explosive recovery in markets. But we are above that level, and we're 10 weeks before the end of the year, and the S&P's at 6,800. I think it's still a base case then for people to say that in just a typical year, the S&P should gain another 4%. That would put us over 7,000 into the end of the year. And I think that that's sort of the minimum. But because we've got the Fed cutting, and they started in September, they've been on pause all year. That only happened twice in the last 50 years, which is 1998 and 2024. I actually think the S&P, given the skepticism that's been plaguing this market all year, we could do far better than 4%, maybe even 10% into year end.
Okay, that's why I titled my video Jaw Dropping yesterday, because he's saying that the S&P 500 could go up even more. Let's see if I can find the actual S&P 500 chart. It would go up to $7,500 basically is what he's saying if it went up another 10%. From the April lows, I mean, this is not even intraday. We're up 36%. We'd be up 46, 47% in half a year. The NASDAQ even more than that. That's incredible. That's insane. This would cause, obviously, some major tech stocks to go up 10%, but a lot of them would be up more. Some would be up a little bit less. We could see 20% moves, 30% moves from some of the biggest names out there. If this was the case, we'd obviously see some bullishness in crypto too. But let's hear what he has to say on that.
Wow. Okay, so where does crypto fit in, especially when you're looking at how those currencies are moving versus what's happening with tariff concerns, global trade concerns, et cetera?
Crypto had a huge deleveraging event on October 10th, and part of that was triggered by the escalating tensions with U.S. and China on tariffs and trade. And that was the biggest liquidation event in 5 years for crypto. So there is still those ripple effects, 2 weeks later that are plaguing the crypto market. But I think we're almost through that, because a measure like something called open interest for both Ethereum and Bitcoin are at record lows at a time when the technicals for both Bitcoin and Ethereum are flipping positive. So I think you're going to see a crypto rally into the end of the year. And it really does help to see JP Morgan say they're open to the idea of using crypto as collateral.
Yeah, I was actually going to get your thoughts on that, Tom. But in light of that, and you and I have had these conversations over the months, over the years. I can think about the conversation we had in early August where you talked about on the exchange, where you talked about the fact that cryptocurrencies tend to be early indicators of where stocks are directionally headed, as well as indicators of liquidity in the broader market. So given what we are seeing in Bitcoin, and as that relates to the S&P 500 and arguably what we're seeing in Ethereum and what that says about the Russell 2000, I want to get your thoughts.
I think it's sending a pretty bullish signal. Part of it is it's a counterfactual statement, but crypto had the biggest liquidation event, deleveraging event in history. The number is probably multiples of what happened during FTX, and Bitcoin ends up down 3 or 4%. So I think it shows you that Bitcoin itself is proving to be a pretty good store of value, because if we had seen this happen with gold in the gold market, if there was a huge deleveraging event and gold was only down a few percentage points, we'd of course consider that a real validation. And it's also true of Ethereum, because Ethereum is seeing so much activity growth. I mean, on the L1 and the L2, because of stable coins, and it's not reflected in the price. It does take time. So to me, because like what I'd call the fundamental activity on Ethereum is really picking up, it argues for a pretty big move into end of the year as well.
All right, there you have it. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think we're going to move up into year end? Do you think this is kind of the end of the 4-year cycle? Or have we already seen the top? Let me know down below in the comment section. I personally think we could see a move up into year end and maybe even next year, but time will tell. If you do want to trade crypto, like I said at the beginning of the video, check out PYDeFi. There are also some other links underneath. You can check out BTCC, BitINX, WEEX, BLOFIN. All of those are great exchanges that I've used over a very long time. So check those out. Thank you so much. I'll see y'all soon.